daylight, strangely enough. I was able to get this during fucking, daylight. It's Christmas. I was gonna catch a few movies for the channel. I didn't get to catch Big Eyes. I was dealing with some stuff. Obviously Christmas. And you're working with a new laptop. I got a new laptop for Christmas, so I'm trying this out on the new laptop. Better quality, all that. It's great. I'm enjoying it very much. However, it does raise an issue. This laptop is far bigger than my last one, so I could not balance this thing on the dashboard for shit. So I'm doing this in the back of the car. It's going to be really interesting to see how I do other reviews in the car with this thing with other people. But we'll work with what we got. So I just got back from The Gambler, the new Mark Wahlberg film. It just came out Christmas. I'm going to try to keep this on the short side, just because I have another movie to catch later today. And so what's the story? Mark Wahlberg, as he says in one of the trailers, excuse me, by the way, he's an adjunct professor with a gambling problem. He is a gambling he does not know when to stop, basically. And he's like a progeny, but he's not a progeny. He always ends up getting it's like he's got like a 3-hit stride, and then he just craps out in the 4th hand. Is he okay? I'm up. Fuck. I'm up. Fuck. That's kind of how his luck goes. And so it's him getting in debt with people and him getting out of debt with people. How does it go? Does it work? Does he make it out in the end? Well, the performances generally all around the board are fine. I wasn't a big fan of the chick that much. Oh, crap. Oh, actors whose names I can remember in this are fucking Mark Wahlberg and John Goodman, unfortunately. I really should have looked up the names before this, but the girl whoever's playing the main girl, she's alright, but I didn't quite believe's not the right term. I don't know, I can't really describe the issue I have with this girl, but she's that kind of love interest for Mark Wahlberg. It doesn't go anywhere, really. There's a scene at the end where obviously he's going to see her. I don't get that relationship. I don't. There's an attraction. She's hot and kind of, has an interesting personality. That's about it. That's about all the attraction she kind of has. That's all the appeal she kind of has. Mark Wahlberg is good, though. He's good in this movie. What is it called? Oscar than me, but he plays that kind of addict guy who just doesn't give a shit anymore. He just doesn't. He's an adjunct class. He's an associate professor, basically, and he teaches English literature and all that. And he does not bullshit with any of his students. He tells you, he's like, you're all worthless except for this chick right here. She's the only one who's got a career in this. Just give up. Anybody who wants to continue, just give up. He's fucking blunt as hell, and I appreciate that. I really do wish some people were more honest with the world than they are. There's some great scenes, and him just riffing. It's Mark Wahlberg just monologuing and riffing to his class. And that's really fun. That's really good, scenes. That's really good, juicy material. What makes you wonder, what is this character's mentality? What has brought him to this state? And quite frankly, we don't know what fucking put him in this state. And throughout this movie, they don't really explain it. They say his father basically left or his mother drove him off. He was born into a rich family. He had no problems whatsoever, yet he causes the problems for himself because we don't know why. The only explanation they ever kind of give is that he's someone who does not see the small victory. He sees the ultimate pinnacle of victory. That's all he sees. It's the only time we ever get any sort of explanation on it. And that's something I can believe that, but I don't like the fact that we don't quite understand his motives. And at the same time, I do. It's a very conflicting thing. I enjoyed this movie generally, wholeheartedly, but I do have some complaints. This is a complaint. And it's not a complaint at the same time. It's a double-edged complaint, basically. It's a complaint and not a complaint. I like the fact that they didn't tell us all about him, but at the same time, why are you like this? God damn it. John Goodman, see, I don't know. They kind of say in one scene that he's his uncle, but he's not. I think at one point he says, treat me like your uncle. I'm like, are you his uncle? Are you not? I don't know. He's a known gangster or just loan shark or something like that. He is. And he's not in there a lot, but the scenes he's in, he's particularly really good. He has this great fucking monologue about about making so much money where you can just say fuck you. Because America was founded on the belief of fuck you. You got the word, oh, you're British, you got the world's greatest navy. Fuck you. You know what? You got 2.5 million. You can retire with a house, the 25-year roof of Japanese walls, and that's your fortress of solitude. You got boss troubles. Fuck you. You got problems. These guys. Fuck you. It's a great fucking monologue. I love that monologue. That monologue is one of the highlights of this movie because honestly, besides the antics that Mark Wahlberg's going to, just digging himself into deeper and deeper shit, it does kind of drag at points. It is not the most enthralling of films for like maybe a third of it. And it's like a sporadic third. Like, at one point, non-interesting stuff is happening. Like, there's this whole deal with a student in his class who's basically there on a scholarship and could turn pro. But he's like, people are telling me what to do and stuff like that, and, just do it. It's your choice. And then, the game happens. Like, there's a game that he's basically riding on this guy that Mark Wahlberg is basically betting on to basically pay off debts. And, I just didn't care. I didn't care about this kid. I mean, the guy did fine. The guy playing him did fine. But I didn't care. It's kind of the thing with the girl. I didn't care with the girl. The girl was just in there to be there. Because what happens, I mean, obviously you see it, they're in a hotel room, they hook up, obviously. After he basically loses $260,000 because he doesn't know when to fucking stop. It was all supposed to be paid for his debts, and he didn't know when to fucking stop. My God. There's people with problems, and then John Goodman even says, like, are you just, you just temporarily fucking retarded right now? What? And I'm looking as like, yeah, what the fuck? Do you really have a fucking problem? Not like a whining problem, like, get fucking help problem. And he's so fucking self-loathing for no reason. The movie opens up with his grandfather dying, and that's another thing. This movie opened up really like just, here we are. This guy apparently has a gambling problem. His grandfather, who was like the 17th richest guy in America, died. So I'm gonna go gamble. Yeah, why not? What? You're just throwing us in there. I know you can't, it's set up. It is. And it was okay, but it really did feel disjointed from the rest of the movie. The soundtrack, I love the soundtrack of this movie. There's a few exceptions. There's like a fucking, a reggae version of Time by Pink Floyd, where I'm like, okay, of all the songs I'm liking in this movie, this is not one of them. Stop this right now. Do not disrespect Pink Floyd in my face. Do not fucking do that, you jackasses. Then something, Buffalo Soldiers playing. There's an acapella version of Creep, which I thought was hilarious. That's the thing. The soundtrack in this is usually a legit song that's playing on the background. Kind of like how in Birdman, when you hear like a band playing, he was running past the band. That's how it is. Whenever there's a song singing, it's basically being played on the radio or some guy or the other gangster or guy who I can't remember his name. I've seen him before, and he's actually it was actually quite good in this movie. I really wish I could remember. I need to look up these people's names before, and I'll do that for Into the Woods later today. Which, yeah, I'm seeing Into the Woods later today. It's really gonna be interesting to see how I do that, seeing as Mark, me, Sam, possibly Gina, and Sam's sister will be in that review. Possibly. We'll see how that goes. But no, he plays like another song, and I'm just like, this movie's got really good choices in music. So I mean, the gambling's fine. The gambling scenes are okay. There's nothing. It's not like Casino Royale where it's the fucking Full House versus the Straight Flush. It's not that level of awesomeness, but it's still fun. He's like a strict blackjack player in like sometimes roulettes. And it's like he's like Rain Man for like the first couple of hands, and then he just craps out after that because he just doesn't know when to fucking stop. He doesn't know when to stop when he's ahead is the problem, and he fully admits that and all that. Excuse me. One thing I will say that people I think are going to be a little divided on is the ending. Only somewhat. For a moment there when he's betting, like, because what happens is there was like a spread on the game that he was betting on. And he basically took out loans on all these guys, and he made killing at Vegas with the help of some guy and with the help of the student. and he basically bets it all on black. Now what I'm thinking is going to happen is they're just going to cut to black and not show us to be won or lost, and that's where the movie's going to be ending. And I would have been pissed at that. I would have been absolutely rip shit at that ending. But it did not happen that way. What happens... Okay, this is going to be the only main spoiler I have. Man, I'll try not to... He pays off his debts. And then I like the symbolism of what basically the end, 3 minutes means for him. Because he gives up the car he borrowed. It's like, John Goodman even comes out and is like, there was an extra $100,000 on me. It's like, nah, fuck you. And then John Goodman's like, good boy. Yeah. Obviously, he did it better than that. He's just like, you know what? Good boy. Don't take anything from anyone. And he's running. Basically, he's running. And I'm watching this scene. The hilarity of this scene for me is that Mark Wahlberg is basically running this entire time when dawn breaks. A couple miles. I'm finding it really hard to believe that Mark Wahlberg in this condition would be running that marathon length. But then he goes to the girl, knocks on the door. That's how the movie ends. The movie ends with him knocking on the door of the girl's hotel room while she's writing. I'm like, that's what? Okay, whatever. The only thing what I liked about this, the symbolism of that scene is that it's basically expressing how he's basically free. He's conquered some demon of himself, and then he passes by a vacant lot, and it just. I don't want to call people stupid or less or anything like that. I think people who aren't looking for it aren't going to necessarily see it, but when it pauses on a vacant lot for a good solid 5 to 7 seconds. I'm like, I get the symbolism they're going with. He's now got a fresh slate to build upon now. He's basically cleared of everything. And I get that. I'm like, you know what? That's good. Why'd you have to bring the girl back involved? I'm sorry. The girl really didn't do anything for me in this. She didn't. She wasn't bad. Her performance wasn't necessarily bad. I just didn't care about her as a character. So, yeah. That's all I got for the game, but I'm keeping this short. Not as much else I could have said. I'll give my rating after I give my... trailers, as always. Give me 1 second. Okay, I got 3 new trailers. First one is for one I didn't even know about this movie. In fact, I didn't know about all 3 of these movies, in fact. So, yeah, this is pretty good for me. It's called Woman in Gold. It's starring Helen Mirren and Ryan Reynolds, which I thought was interesting. It's basically, Helen Mirren plays a Jewish woman who basically escaped from Austria, I believe. And a painting of hers was stolen by the Nazis. It now hangs up in a gallery in Austria. And Ryan Reynolds is, I think, the lawyer or art dealer or something like that. He's something along those lines. Who's trying to help her get it back. This should be returned to her because it was her painting of her on. She wants it back. And it's a story. I don't know if this is based on real events. That's the thing. It might be. I know one of these, I think, was. I don't know. If I'm going to have to guess, I'm going to say it was this one that might actually be based on real events. But it's got Helen Mirren, first off. Helen Mirren is just a fabulous actress. And Ryan Reynolds is being very different than I've seen him in any of real role. I've seen him do comedy. I've seen him do the love, not love, but cutesy film. He's been the romantic lead and all that stuff. He's been the action hero. He can run the gamut. He really can. This is something. He's like this awkward, almost like a pencil pusher lawyer a little bit, but at the same time, you can tell there's more to him. This is different. I haven't seen Ryan Reynolds do something like this before. I'd be down to see Ryan Reynolds because I like Ryan Reynolds, generally speaking, as an actor. He's not one of the problems I have with Green Lantern. I like Green Lantern a little more than other people, but I recognize it's not a good movie. That being said, I don't think he's a problem with the movie. Ryan Reynolds did the best he could with the script that he was given. For the time he was Wade Wilson in Wolverine Origins, he was perfectly fine as Wade Wilson. We're going to love him as Deadpool, I'm sure. Yeah, generally speaking, he is not a bad actor by any stretch of the means. So, I look forward to seeing how that movie turns out. I'd be interested in seeing it. Next one I didn't even know about this one. Al Pacino is, it's called Danny Collins. And Al Pacino plays, Al Pacino plays a guy called, obviously, Danny Collins, who's, basically, he's a sold-out musician at this point. He's doing tours, promotions, commercials, billboards, all that stuff. And at one point, he gets a letter that he should have received back in the 90s or 70s or something like that. No, 70s, sorry. Because Lennon was still alive then. Back in the 70s from Lennon, who basically told him, be true to yourself. And it comes to the realization that he's sold out. He hasn't written anything original in years. He's sold out. And it's basically him trying to recapture a little bit of who he was, what he stood for, and all that stuff. And I can't say it's going to be an amazing movie. But hell, I can't even say that Al Pacino is necessarily giving it his all, because Al Pacino, as much as I love Al Pacino, he's been phoning it in for the last couple of years, a good couple of years as of late. I did like Stand Up Guys. I don't think he was kind of phoning it in, but he wasn't. He was working really well off Arkin and Walken, so I thought he was good in Stand Up Guys myself. I don't think everyone loves that, but I really liked it. I'm sorry, I just had a bad memory of something I ate during that. We got sometimes get snacks from like our local health food stuff, and it was like one of the weirdest fucking things I'd ever put in my mouth. It was like this. I'm going off track. It was called like a something sausage, like a vegan sausage or something like that. It was like biting into like a piece of wax that had nuts and string, and I'm not even joking. There was like a piece of twine in this fucking piece of it. I'm like, what the fuck? And it tasted horrible. But okay, whatever. Anyway, it's got Jennifer Garner. It's got Dan Aykroyd. I think it's got a couple other actors whose names escape me at the moment. It does not look horrible. I don't think it's going to be like an Oscar contender or even an award winner. I think it's just going to be a nice kind of fun little movie with Al Pacino, who's, being this guy. So yeah, there's that. And the last one you got is A Little Chaos. This is one, I don't know if it's based off a play or anything like that. It seems very in the vein of like Much Ado About Nothing. It's got Alan Rickman. It's got Stanley Tucci. Kate Winslet. It's got Kate. From what I understand, it was like these aristocrats with gardens and the high society shit, and this woman comes in to change some stuff. It's nothing we haven't technically seen before, but whatever. It's got Alan Rickman and Stanley Tucci. I'm okay with this. And Kate Winslet's a gorgeous woman and talented actress, so I'm perfectly content with seeing that. So yeah, that's all I got. My final rating for The Gambler, I give it about a 6.5, maybe going on a 7. I'd be pushing the 7 a little bit. I think anyone who wants to see it, will enjoy it for what it was. I think I was actually the youngest person in the theater, though. At 25 years old, I was the youngest person in that theater. I think the second youngest person besides me in that theater was about 30. So yeah, I'm going to go about 6.5 on this. Not bad. I think I liked it more than I liked The Hunger Games, that's for certain. But again, it's a different movie. But not bad. I would recommend you seeing it if you want to see it, but nothing to write home about. So, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you later today, but these will probably be up later on tomorrow or something like that. At least later in the evening. So, later.